Uh, I'm still trying to I'm still trying to get myself back on, kind of kilt with my friend passing and all this other crap. Man, I am telling you, uh, it has been a trying couple of years. Yeah, it's been that long. Billy Bob back there in the chair. Yeah. Waiting on Rev Radio. Should be a minute or two. I'm waiting there for Rumble and locals and Facebook and everybody else to get kicked in the nuts here. Well, that's never a good thing, is it? Bend you over in a heartbeat. Hey, remember, don't be crabby. Smoke a fatty. Hey, before you start doing those pharmaceutical drugs, sit down and smoke a joint. Yeah, it makes a difference. So I hope y'all are doing well. God bless you. Yeah, it's almost time for Monday Madness. It's a trumpet. You have to ask, what the fuck is wrong with people? But then you look at the political system and you said, well, I know what the fuck is wrong with people. People are trained to jump through hoops today and live in a certain lifestyle and idea. And most of them don't have a clue. Most of them don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. And the truth is, they think they own the world. They got everything going on because they got this job or that job, and they're doing this. And the truth is, they're just, another little ant on the farm that's scurrying around and, has a job to do, and they're doing it. God, it's madness. It is. It's true madness here on Revolution Radio and Rumble. YouTube, locals.com, and I even think Facebook is rolling this morning. So we got about 30 seconds or so till we get into we're gonna kick this pig right out the park today because, man, yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. It's going to rain for a few days. I think I'm going to smoke pork butts, I think. Make some barbecues. I have to make 2 or 3. Usually make 3 at a time, so it's only me here at the house. Man, I guess my neighbors are going to pig out big time. They usually do. I usually give them half or 1 or more. But anyway, all right, here we go. Are you ready? Are you ready? Yeehaw! Good morning. It's time for this Revolution in the Morning show. Live from Franklin County, Virginia. It is Monday Madness. As Donald Trump has said, well, we have a freedom flotilla. Yeah. After a few ships have kind of magically blew up in the Gulf of Hormuz, Donald Trump has says, "Look, we have got to get these ships out of that are trapped in the Gulf." Remember that's 700 to 800 cargo vessels and tankers that are stranded. Now, listen, the thing is, they can get oil anywhere, in multiple places in the world, okay? They can pick up cargo multiple places in the world. But they can't pick up cargo. They can't take on oil. They can't move anything if they're bottled up in the Persian Gulf, So Donald Trump is saying that we will have a flotilla. We will guarantee we will have passage. Project Freedom. Yeah, to help ships leave the Straits of Hormuz starting today, Monday. Yeah, the movement is merely meant to free up people, companies, and countries that have done absolutely nothing wrong. That they are the victims of quote unquote circumstances. Ah, my gosh. Remember, so in the end, it's really not about the oil? Oh, sure. It's about all the ships and everything that is locked up in the Persian Gulf. I mean, come on. You know, now this is not an escort mission. Okay, remember this is not where the very first time the U.S. Navy said, "Well, we will," or the politicians promised that the U.S. Navy would escort ships through the Hormuz Straits. And then, for some reason, the U.S. Navy said, "No, no, 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 no. That's not what we said. We're not going to go into that narrow passage where we don't have any place to maneuver or anything." Be crazy. But cargo ships, whatever country you're flagged on, using using the courage from your own countrymen, and from that you can sail through the Hormuz Straits unmolested, even though the U.S. government will not send its ships through there. Okay. That's not to say U.S. ships haven't made transit through there, but doing escort duty for a commercial traffic is a little different. Okay. So understand that this is not an escort mission. It is literally a maritime freedom construct. Remember a couple weeks ago, all these shippers and all of these other countries said, "Look, man, half of our fleet is stuck in the fucking Gulf." Remember that what is it? 20 to 25% of the liquid natural gas haulers in ships are stuck in the Persian Gulf. Maybe that's the real. Maybe that's the real emergency. You know, you really don't know 100% sure because, well, everything is such a sophisticated act show, and I dare call it a false flag, but it borders on the line of being false flags. That we in America, our foreign policy, the government and the world is literally run from one false flag to another, one false created crisis to another. Okay? Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, there you have it. Any American interference, Iran says any American interference in the new maritime regime of the Straits of Hormuz will be considered a violation of the ceasefire, okay, according to Iran. The Straits of Hormuz and the Persian Gulf will not be managed by Trump's delusional posts, they say. No one would believe the blame game scenarios, the Iranians are saying. The Straits of Hormuz will not essentially be open the way Trump says they will be. Okay. So, Trump is stuck looking, foolish or stupid. Take your pick, okay? Maybe both in this case, foolish and stupid, for literally, coddling Israel, and literally him and Trump and his family, literally making big bank off of Israel, big money. All right, And if anything is going to bring, dumbass down, I mean, Donald Trump, the dumbass, if anything is going to bring him down, it's going to be not the greed of Donald Trump. It is going to be the greed of his fucking stupid family members and in-laws, okay? Kushner, for example. Just all I'm trying to say is what you're going to see is this Hunter Biden effect. And this is the same thing that we have been witnessing all along. As Donald Trump Jr., Jared Kushner, and other members of the Trump family have been brought into these power positions and are raking in the fucking money. And all of those, every bit of this shit, if you look, it goes back to where? The CI fucking A and the the damned evil, synagogue of Satan and the Mossad. Okay, let's be honest. Okay, all of this corruption, goes back to Israel. All right, it is pathetic and sad. Okay, but it's my belief that the one of the ways that the CIA gets control of presidents, congressmen, and others is they essentially they get their relatives, sons and daughters, wives, even them sometimes, in on the spy game, in on this thrill of the thing, and pay them well, pay them big fucking dollars, okay? And these people will jump right in, just like Hunter Biden did in the Burisma project, where the CIA run that operation. And then, of course, this continued operation against, the fucking spy chief of China, according to, if you listen to the words of that crack-headed motherfucker Hunter Biden. Yeah, I mean, he'd have been doing, with the shit that he did, he'd have been doing 20 to 40, depending on what jurisdiction he was called in, with if he was a normal person, okay? If he was a normal cracking, human trafficking, whoring, drug addict with no end, with money that seems to have no end. Yeah. Anyway, I guess he'll have to make his own meth now when he's over in South Africa. Maybe they have pharmaceutical laws that allows Hunter Biden to, maybe just get his Adderall for free. I'm just saying. That could be one of the reasons Hunter Biden moved to South Africa. Well, his wife is from there, but... And if they party together, she's got the connections. And Hunter's got the reputation. So, anybody in the neighborhood would be saying, Hunter, man, hey, bro, you want to do some business? Cash up front, man. I know you're in a credit crunch, but cash only, man. I can get you a good deal. Maybe Hunter Biden selling crack on the corner in South Africa now, instead of Los Angeles. I mean, I guess you could say that Hunter Biden has gone and is now an international drug runner and conspirator. Yeah. So, the truth is, we're getting back to this, circle back to this, what do you want to call it? This political image shaping by Donald Trump in the Middle East, okay? All right, I mean, it's absolutely, asinine, okay? So, U.S. escort ships out, U.S. escort ships out, U.S. escorts ships out. Iran does nothing, war's over. U.S. escort ships out. Iran fires on ships the U.S. can repel. The war is over. U.S. escorts ships escorts ships out. Iran fires and the ships hit missiles, get hit with a missile or a drone, or they hit a mine. And the image of ships burning in the Gulf is a complete disaster for the U.S. Navy. It's even worse if it is a U.S. Navy ship that is targeted and overwhelmed by drones. The U.S. keeps threatening to do this, but the Navy never actually does escort ships out of the Gulf, akin to them not firing on the 40 or so fast boats in the Strait when Trump said that they would several days ago. Anyway, so you're looking at this. I'm sorry. I'm getting to this next story, and I'm starting to laugh about this fucking shit already. Okay, CNN, on the side of Donald Trump with the Iran war, man. CNN's all in the Iran war. CNN claims that Iran is using suicide dolphins to attack ships. You know, the theories where dolphins and beluga whales and others are trained to attach limpet mines or mines to the hulls of ships underneath where they're salt belly usually. Well, yeah, CNN is kind of out off the fucking farm on that one, aren't they? I mean, yeah, CNN expert. It's Flippa Akbar. That's right. Oh no, Flipper, say it ain't so. I guess that puts dolphin back on the menu, huh? I thought they were supposed to be smart fish, man. Americans. Anyway, this article over on Zero Hedge says Americans are subject to all kinds of war propaganda. I mean, from mushroom clouds over U.S. cities and to suicide dolphins today. Okay, suicide bomber dolphins. All right. Terrorists with nuclear suicide vests. Hey, what about dolphins with nuclear suicide vests? I mean, they could teach them to swim up to a U.S. aircraft carrier and and vaporize it. I'm just saying. Those dolphins would have to been trained by Jews, right? I'm just kidding. It is it is fucking crazy. Okay, I'm sorry. Who in their ever-loving fucking mind would fucking believe that they're suicide dolphins? I mean, come on. If you believe they're suicide dolphins that can be trained consistently to not to blow up your own ship, right? Yeah, here it is.
Kamikaze dolphins.
Kamikaze.
The Persians want to strap mines to dolphins to weaponize the strait. Don't tell PETA. These rogues are desperate. The blockade's already forced 45 ships to do a 180. And now the Pentagon is using AI to hunt down Iranian mines. The president says it's basically already over.
The blockade has been unbelievable, powerful, 100%. It's been actually unbelievable. If we left right now, we had a great victory, but we're not doing that.
The Pentagon says the blockade's already cost the Iranians $5 billion.
Oh, wow.
And inflation is so high, it'd make Biden blush.
Well, hey, but we did spend $25 billion, right? I mean, yeah. So anyway, if you're looking at it online, yeah, unblocked bomber dolphin. Oh my God! It's AI. AI even has CNN going crazy. I'm just saying. Wow, Rudy Giuliani, the hero really from 9/11, that evacuated Building 11 so it could be demolished. Isn't that special? Yay! Well, Rudy, God bless him. He is in critical condition. I probably am not expected to live. Let's see. The 81-year-old is in the hospital. So yeah. Anyway, so I was trying to read down through here and find more about his condition, but it seems that there's really not a whole lot talking about his condition in this article. It's just, it's almost like it's a pre-obituary, for Rudy. God bless him. They didn't say what sent the 81-year-old to the hospital or how long he would be there. Anyway, so we do know that he's had some problems off and on, and he is 81. So God bless you, Rudy, and may your travels be well wherever you go. Yeah, because hey, let's face it, we don't know. So yeah. Iran fires missiles at U.S. warships this morning or yesterday. Well, gives a month deadline. And they say the Strait unchoked. Is that, do you think? So I guess where should we start here? I guess we'll start. This says U.S. denies Iran struck a military vessel during a new effort to reopen the Straits of Hormuz. Let's see. The U.S. military on Monday denied claims Iran struck a Navy vessel as U.S. forces offer to guide commercial ships through the Straits of Hormuz, where hundreds have been struck since the Iran war began. Hundreds of ships? Really? I don't know about that part. Wow. If hundreds of ships had been struck, then we've been lied to, because as far as we know, it's only been a dozen, or maybe under 20 at the most. Anyway, now they're not claiming Iranian ships, I hope. But anyway, Iran struck a U.S. vessel near the Iranian port southeast of the strait, accusing it of violating maritime security and navigation norms. The vessel was forced to turn back. Of course, the U.S. Navy says no, they didn't hit anything. The U.S. military might involve guided missile destroyers, and look, they've got 2 aircraft carrier what do you call them, fleets out there right now off the coast. Okay, and they have enough guided missiles and airplanes to pretty much take care of most anything, but not everything. And I guess that's the $1 billion accident if a carrier gets hit or runs into a mine or something along those lines. Okay. Plan requires both sides to lift the Hormuz blockades, but leaves issue on Tehran's nuclear program unresolved. Iran offers Trump 1 month to deal to end the war as the world faces what they call a tipping point. The truth is, right now, what Iran should be doing, if it is going to continue to resist, it must right now be rebuilding and bringing in new missiles, new technology, upgrading its ability to wage war. The Chinese are very, very, very happy to do that. Because, they need some place to test their weapons, too. The U.S. has Ukraine. So, yeah. Anyway. Man. So, okay. So, nobody hit anything. And man, when you look at these ships anchored, it's hundreds of them scattered throughout the waters. And if Iran wanted to, if they had the technology, they would be able to target any of those ships that are at anchor. I think that's the truth. That the other reason why nobody has essentially tried to keep running the blockade and everything else, because what happens is that puts all of those ships that are at anchor, that are within range of Iranian drones and drone boats and torpedoes or whatever. If I was Iran, I'd be building a bunch of them remote-controlled boats that lay low to the water and just have a huge warhead in the front of them. But I'm just saying that's what any country that's going to want to resist. That's what they're going to have to do right now, while they're not under this bombardment. Okay, now can they get supplies in? I don't know. And what supplies can they get in from Pakistan or from China and Russia? I don't know. I do know that there are shipments of weapons that are arriving in Tehran and are arriving in Iran. And the question is, the real question is, is Iran going to be able to hold off? While Donald Trump says they won and everything, it really doesn't matter, because it really is more like Vietnam than he wants to admit. Because what? Because Iran has the land. Okay? If you have the geography, it doesn't really matter. Okay? The invaders have to come in, and if they are literally if they literally, trying to, sail through the Gulf, good luck, I guess, is what I would say. So, yeah. Wow, hantavirus. Wow, 3 die on an Atlantic cruise ship, going on a cruise and catch a virus and die. Yeah, of course, don't forget that, our system will scream and holler and jump up and down, often for no reason at all except to maintain this illegitimate vaccine regime that we have going on today. It truly is, madness. It is. It's madness. Meanwhile, the fallout continues from the, what's the case, Louisiana versus Calais, barring a racial gerrymandering, has many on the left vaping smoke and spit and fire. Yeah, despite the predictions, the many of us that this result was likely. Okay. there is just another way for the left to be outraged at the U.S. Supreme Court, because what they have done is they have stripped away this racial privilege to gerrymander districts along race. Okay? Listen, this isn't nothing new. We see Democrats today literally bringing back racism in Chicago, okay, in Virginia, under the Biden administration. These motherfuckers in government, and they're all fucking sons of bitches. All of them are literally creating this race-based society, okay? This is what DEI is all about, okay? Diversity, equity, and inclusiveness. It's funny. Everybody is included except white Christians and conservatives. That's not inclusiveness. That's not equality. And to literally say, oh, well, we have to make up for racism in the past by having racism now. I mean, what kind of fucking aborted asinine thinking is that? Jonathan Turley, in his article, says, look, this isn't anything that is, yeah. And Turley says, for example, in 2003, in Grutter versus Bollinger, the court divided 5-4 on whether to uphold racial admissions criteria used to achieve a diversity in a class at the University of Michigan Law School. However, her opinion with the majority, Justice Sandra Day O'Connor, stated that she expects that 25 years from now, the use of racial preferences will no longer be necessary to further the interest approved today. Well, imagine that. Yeah. And this is the whole basis of it. It shouldn't have even been then. Okay? Yeah. I think it's a sad state of affairs when people expect to get a privilege from racism and then turn around and scream racism because, well, they didn't get their privilege points. They didn't get their extra bonuses. They didn't get their slots. They didn't get their privilege. And everybody should know and understand that what that does is that creates animus. I mean, I'm just saying. When instead of a meritocracy where people are treated on merit, on how good they do their job. So, yeah, I mean, last year, Turley says, Supreme Court unanimously ruled in Ames versus the Ohio Department of Youth Services that whites cannot be placed under additional burdens when bringing discrimination lawsuits. All of these fallacies that were put up with. Because, everybody wanted to be, nobody wanted to be perceived as a racist. When the truth is that that racism, that the script had been flipped. That everything had been inverted. And now the racism was running the opposite direction. And that was not the intended use of the Voters' Rights Act. Wasn't to create racism and gerrymandering for different groups. If we were going to play that fucking game, really, if we were going to play that fucking game, Democrats, just as they're finding out now, that the privilege, this illegal, ill-gotten privilege that Democrats received was racist. Okay, I don't think they will see it that way. I don't believe they will believe it. But we have to understand, just as in our just as in race, in the color of our skins, we generally we have another monopoly, a black and white monopoly, a red and blue monopoly of Democrats and Republicans. I mean, give me a fucking break. I mean, it's like we are only allowed to choose within a certain narrow group of whatevers. Okay? So yeah, I as an independent, and probably I lean more libertarian than anything else. I think I'm gonna go up and I'm already a member of the Libertarian Party, but going to get more involved with those guys. Anyway, so we have all of these misconceptions, about race, and correcting racism in the past by effectively using racism today. Abigail Spanberger from the fucking Crackin' America boys. She is a governor of Virginia, and she is doing the exact same thing. She is essentially continuing Jim Crow, except they put a different put a different face on the crow. Okay, it's a sad state of affairs. All right. Anyway, so yeah, it is crazy, the world that we're sheep dipped into today. Okay. Pentagon hails 2 U.S. merchant ships safely exiting the Straits of Hormuz as Iran vows attack on U.S. Navy entering the Hormuz Straits. So what the U.S. Navy has done is, I guess they have put some of their small swift boats, I guess like a smaller modern day version of a PT boat, but I don't even think they're as big as like a PT boat. So yeah. Tens of millions of taxpayers may be owed IRS refunds from the pandemic era. No shit, really? Ukrainian drone hits a Moscow luxury tower miles away from the Kremlin. Russians are complaining that Iranian medium-range UAVs with the unjammable Starlink systems are literally wreaking havoc across Russia. Russia has the big hammers to use if they choose to use them. But Russia knows and understands that this is a world war, and that the U.S. and the NATO literal color revolution in Ukraine. I think Russia more than understands today that it fucked up. That when the Ukrainian president asked for help and they didn't help, they fucked up. And they could have went straight in and quelled most of this, but they didn't. So Russia is in this. Russia is in this World War III. Okay, and the Americans and the Ukrainians have been trying to escalate it. So, yeah. What else? There was something else. Oh, dang it! I wanted to say. about that. I'll think about it as I go along here. Norwegian, listen, European Airlines and Norwegian cruise lines are cutting the number of cruises that they offer and the number of flights that they offer because of the cost of fuel. That's right. If you didn't know, if you didn't hear by now, Spirit Airlines is now actually the real Spirit floating around out here somewhere, as Spirit Airlines has been bankrupted. It is done. Now, another company that is I'm laughing because, in one news article it says, these also like not ActBlue, but JetBlue and a few other companies are literally getting ready to die because of the same thing that killed Spirit Airlines. Okay. Well, the next word around the corner is that JetBlue says, "Oh my God, we're going to buy all those routes. We're going to buy all that stuff." And why don't they just call it deportation airlines? Why don't the U.S. government just take on Spirit Airlines, the pilots, the planes, everything, and turn it into a government deportation service, flight service, at least for a few years. We can be flying every motherfucker and illegal immigrant that we can get anywhere in the world as fast as we can fucking get them on the plane. Yeah. That's right. In fact, we would offer a bonus. And then, oh my God, my heel. Oh, shit, man. Been having trouble with my foot since I stepped on that. I don't know what the hell it was. I think it was a root that stuck up out of the ground, kind of pointy, and it was like a blunt force trauma impact. Impact on the bottom of my foot, man. I'm telling you. Man, I ain't been hardly been able to walk for about 2 months. So yeah. Oh, there it is. Wall Street is skeptical. GameStop, CEO's a $56 billion eBay takeover bid. Whoa. Yeah, consolidation and all the other stuff. Now, GameStop, wasn't that one of those short stocks where everybody was shorting it and then drove it up real high and all of a sudden they had some money? eBay shares jumped 13% at the New York pre-market trading after GameStop CEO Ryan Cohen told the Wall Street Journal that he had submitted a $56 billion takeover bid for the online marketplace. Latest comments, Morgan Stanley says the key question in any hypothetical acquisition scenario would be financing, and eBay's market cap is roughly 4 times larger than GameStop. Truist Bank said, hold that thought. Skeptical the ultimate success, and so other people said, we ain't going to talk about it. So, whether it's just a thing to pump and dump a stock or whatever it is, they got more money than they know what to fucking deal with, okay? Oh, there we go. Real estate browser extension in France provides the immigration data overlay. Uh-oh. Yeah, people are going to be able to, let's just say, stay away from retarded immigrants. Yes. French website and real estate browser extension for Chrome is promoting an unusual data offering. which includes information on immigration levels, insecurity, and Islamization rates. All factors that real estate buyers may want to take into consideration before they make an investment. Okay? Pretty much says this is a no-go zone. This is already Islamabad, man. Bad land. You know. And hey, this might be free Europe zone for right now. Yeah. The multicultural cities, it's an extremely multicultural cities. The site tracks a granular data search such as the evolution of first names it uses to check out categories, traditional French names, modern names, African names, Muslim names. Put them in a category and they check and see. And, you know, in France, it's been, well, traditional French names are, well, let's just say, in the 1950s, it was still near 100%, and now it's like down near, 40%. Okay. So yeah, it is a. Let's just say this is something that people should be using, so they can look and understand how their country is being dissolved by the elite, how they are being replaced, and how the state believes that they can displace all of the indigenous peoples of Europe and bring in an Islamic Brotherhood to disrupt one culture so they can keep power and control. When the true dumb motherfuckers, they don't even realize that, first off, they are the ones they are being assimilated, okay? That Europe will be an Islamic state, okay? Europe is falling right now as we speak, okay? People don't see it. The United States is facing the beginnings or in the middle parts of that same style of invasion. However, we have the Constitution, and we can push back, and we will push back against any style of Islamization and these idiot fucking crazies, okay, that want to bring in a political Islam in America. Europe will lose billions in revenue if U.S. military bases shut down. Duh, no shit. Hey, I talked about that months ago, didn't I? Yeah, they when Friedrich Merz, German chancellor, said the U.S. had been humiliated by Iran. Trump changed his tune and said, okay, well, we'll just pull our troops out. I mean, look, the United States should have been out of NATO by 1990s, okay? But that wasn't going to happen. Why? Because the CIA and the United States owned, operated, and run as an extension of the United States of America, the NATO, and Europe. And we committed, the United States of America and NATO committed terrorism crimes against Europe to keep it on a consistent and persistent move to social fascism, social Marxism, okay? These, what somebody tagged them, called them Marxocrats, okay? I'm just saying. These guys are nuts, okay? So, yeah. Man. Let me see what stupid clips I got to say here, Well, here's one. This is just a clip. London Black Ops and the war on Trump, Obama, MI6, and the deep state engineered a fraud in America. No shit, really? The General Flynn investigation, of course, this deals with Stephen Halper. and Slavinka Lokalpa, I think is how you pronounce her name. Okay, she is a Russian military analyst, and her and General Flynn allegedly met at a conference, Cambridge Security Conference in the UK. Stephen Halper wrote a bunch of lies about Flynn and her under direction from Obama. Now, remember, this is, how should we say it? This is in 2015. This isn't in 2016. This isn't later, okay? This is, these are whole made-up lies that Lakova and Flynn literally fought and proved that they were completely false, okay? But the Obama administration paid Stephen Halper more than $1 million acting as this agent, okay? It is sheer crazy, I guess is what I'm saying, okay? Here's yeah. So here's a clip. Let me get it. Let me get it straight here. Here's a clip about Democrats and Jim Crow in new clothes, they call it. Of course, we know it's about this gerrymandering by Democrats, or is remember, these are all psychological operations, and that they want you to believe a certain thing.
And Democrats are like, yeah, we are. We do want to discriminate on race. Between affirmative action, DEI, and this racial gerrymandering thing, everything the Democrats support is now unconstitutional. You can't discriminate against black people, and you can't discriminate against white people. All people should be treated equally under the law.
All lives matter.
All lives matter.
Oh my God!
Like having a panic attack.
They
Why?
said
Because
it.
the ruling goes directly at their entire ideology. This ruling says the government cannot use its power to help one racial group over another. The systematically, along with this court and the Justice Department, dismantling all of your pillars of power, from the SPLLC to the voting rights agenda.
Well, they want to talk about the Southern Poverty Law Center and all these other gaslighting organizations and these non-governmental organizations that, they pretend to be so benevolent, and they pretend to be so helpful, but the truth is they are carving up our liberties and our rights as American citizens. And they say, well, maybe you shouldn't do that. Maybe you shouldn't this, that, and the other thing. And, the truth is, listen, I may not like it that my neighbor has a bunch of chickens and has a rooster that crows and day and night. Okay, look, that's life, okay? That's the liberty that somebody has on their own property. If somebody has a dog that barks, a lot of the time, well, life is like that, all right? If somebody lives a quiet life and they live like a hermit, nobody else sees them, well, that's great. That's their, everybody has the rights to live as they choose until they start hurting other people. Until they start, what's the best way to say it? Let's just say it. Oh man, yeah. Until they start hurting and grooming children. I mean, let's be honest. Shouldn't our children be off limits to all that shit? Yeah. What else we got going on here? Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Jeffrey Epstein's possible suicide note hidden from the public. Yeah, he allegedly wrote a suicide note the first time he tried to commit suicide, allegedly. Okay? I say allegedly because we don't know. I say allegedly because Maureen Comey, the daughter of James Comey, traitor, scumbag, piece of shit from fucking Bastards Incorporated, because you have to pardon me, but I have a real, very, very low opinion of the FBI. I don't think it's a Federal Bureau of Investigation. I think it's a bunch of fucking Bastards Incorporated that are literally running government protection operations for motherfuckers that are on the team deep state, and they have to run interference, and the FBI runs interference, the Department of fucking Justice runs interference, and don't goddamn even get me started. I'm sorry, doggies. Get me started on these so-called fucking gutless, ballless inspector generals of the fucking United States government. Give me a motherfucking break. Inspector General, my ass. These fucking cocksuckers are nothing but a fucking bunch of cover-up artists. All right? That's all they are. All right? They should be fucking indicted along with the fucking Russiagate motherfuckers. Hundreds of motherfucking traitorous cocksuckers in our blessed government that should be fucking hung. Yeah, they're the Vichy state that has stolen every right that we used to have has been stolen by these bunch of fucking petty bureaucrats that are gutless, ballless, that are afraid for America to protect itself. They keep letting these fucking motherfuckers out of prison. You'll see Americans protecting themselves. Rev Radio, you on break, catch those promotions and such, and God bless you guys, man. We'll be right back on Rev Radios. So, yeah, goddamn, it just fucking pisses me off, man. All these so-called layers of fucking government and accountability and everything else, it's not accountability of anything. It's all a motherfucking cover-up, okay? Those dirty rat fucking bastards is what they are, all right? Our fucking politicians are fucking a bunch of worthless motherfuckers. Let's be honest. That you can count on one hand, maybe two hands, the number of fucking congressmen, the House representatives, and U.S. senators that are worth a fucking anything, okay? All the rest are a bunch of bought out, freak, dumb motherfuckers that are running gang, that running a gang replacement of our government. I say a fucking gang because it's the Republican and Democrat deep state bought off billionaire gang, and these fucking cocksuck man. I have to do what my shirt says. I'm gonna have to sit back and smoke a fucking fatty. Yeah. I might have two. Okay, in all honesty. Here's one Sharon left. It's hers. How do you get to smoke it? I laugh because she rolls a fatty. Oh my God, man. It is just plain fucking bizarre. And people just gobble it up like it's pablum for the masses of asses. I mean, I prefer a big fat steak or a big juicy hamburger. But God, man, what the fuck is wrong with the peoples? I mean, I have to ask. Oh my God. I don't even think I did anything. U.S. mortgage debt hits $13.2 trillion. Yeah, think about that. Average the U.S. mortgage debt, okay? Remember, that's a sign of what? The gross domestic product of the United States of America. Ooh! Hey man, the fucking American government to make the gross domestic product numbers go up if you own your house. They say you charge yourself market rent. So 3-bedroom double wide here, probably 1,500 to 1,800 a month. That we pay our own selves in rent according to the government. Yeah, but see, if the government only had the real domestic industrial production in the United States, if that's what we really counted on, the United States would look like somebody's fucking liver that's already been dead, it's fallen out their fucking body, okay? Average household in the United States owes $109,000 in mortgage debt. Personal finance website NAP indicated that average households, had mortgage debt has remained on an upward trend the past several years. States adding the most mortgage debt, Alaska, looks like Delaware and Maine, number 1, 2, and 3. So, where are people not moving or not buying? Maybe they're just paying cash, right? Rhode Island, 45. Rhode Island's like ranking number 45. Wow, West Virginia's number 48. Bump. 49 is North Dakota. So, I never did see number 50. Well, who in the hell was number 50? Anyway. Meanwhile, Alaska residents carry significant balances. Average monthly payments are $2,078 a month. Alaska medium list price of a property, $465,000. Yeah, California literally is number 5 on that list. Nevada is number 4 with the most debt. So yeah. But anyway, it's, housing is overpriced. Okay. It's overpriced because the availability of money supply to be lent to people. Okay. From the federal bank. The other part of that is that's has to happen. It must happen for local governments to be literally. Let me make sure I didn't. Yep, that must have been just a minute or something. Breaks back. Talking about mortgages, and I was just trying to say then here that every locality in the United States of America depends on what? Depends on real estate prices to increase. An increase at a rate of 10 to 15, sometimes 20% year over year over year over year. Literally what that does is that funds the county's schools. That helps the county build money into their budget, into their coffers. But what it does is it makes homeowners home owning unaffordable in some cases, mostly because the price year over year over year increases. At 5 to 10% of the housing price. You're looking at a house going up 50% of the price in 10 years. And the question is, can communities keep up? Can communities be able to afford the housing and the new housing that's got to be built and everything else? And the truth is no, because we can see it in California. We can see it in our high cost states, mostly these liberal dynasties, that one of the reasons that they are high cost states is because of the high cost of socialism. that those states literally, they take from people, they take other people's money, they redistribute it across the state, okay? And what that does is that literally, creates these bubbles in economies that wouldn't necessarily be there. Now they found this out because of food stamps. Literally, they found this out because of food stamps. They found out that that the price of Doritos and the price of some of these snack chips, as soon as they cut that shit out of food stamps, the prices dropped. The prices dropped significantly, okay, on Doritos and some of the other prices in places. Why? Because the people on food stamps were buying it steadily, and it's all that government-free money. And as soon as you remove 20 to 30% of a product's market, that they can't buy it with food stamps, and they don't buy it, so they're down 15% to 20% in sales in that particular product. That product is a fucking DOA. It's dead on arrival. It cannot compete, and it cannot create any profit margins at the levels that it's being sold, because, well, it's not selling enough units to create this unit pricing synergy that most businesses and corporations use today. What else we got going on here? Bump. Oh my God! A missing Oklahoma Senate candidate was found dead. Barry Christian, found dead in his truck. No word if it's suspicious or not, or whether it was just a truck wreck. And yeah, whether it was a truck wreck or whatever it was. So yeah. Anyway, we we have to understand that, wherever we are, up north, up in Pennsylvania, they had, this complicated zoning, land use, and all these other systems and down here in Virginia, we didn't have that. Now they're trying to bring that in. And these people are just plain fucking idiots. That's what I'll say. All right, they're just plain fucking idiots. So yeah, that dog's, well, two dogs. A black one is Billy or Bobby, and the white one is Baby. So, yeah. Well, anyway. So, here, let me pull this up here for you. So you can see, listen, you look at these fucking retards in New Jersey. I mean, literally, they're fucking retards.
50 years, perhaps?
50 years. When do you think that will be 1 foot higher in floodwaters from where they currently are?
I don't know.
Sea level rose last year 3.8 millimeters, okay? At that rate, if sea level continues to rise at 3.8 millimeters per year, which is essentially 0.15 inches, which is quantified by the federal government. That's not me talking, that's not some conservative study or anything on those lines. It'd be 80 years to go up 1 foot. We're putting standards on people right now when the average home life is 50 years. Okay, so you got some little old lady living down in my neck of the woods in Lavalette or Brick or Tom's River. She's been in there for 30, 40 years. All the value in her house is in the land, right? So now her roof goes and her windows go. And we're not just talking about new builds. Over a 5-year period, if she improves that house over 50%, and let's just say her house is only worth $100,000, she puts $51,000 worth of improvements into that house, she's now going to have to raise that home. So we are putting these rules on people when most of these houses won't even.
The houses won't even exist. The real estate, this is how fucking ridiculous this fucking shit has gotten. And most often, what is it really about? It's about making fucking money. Okay? They're saying that, because in 80 years, the water level is going to come up 1 foot. Now, this is theoretical, right? Because there could be drops because, well, now Al Gore claims there's fucking global cooling. Hey, I'm not kidding. Look it up. Remember Al Gore, remember what they said. You have to have global warming before you can have global cooling. And once you have global cooling, then you're working towards global warming. Remember, the New World Order doesn't give a flying fuck. They're going to bash your fucking brain with such retarded shit. It's not even funny. Man. Wow. Robot dives 1.5 miles and maps a French shipwreck and brings back some souvenirs. So, listen, AI and robotics and all this stuff, this stuff is being revolutionized, I guess was the way I would say it, okay? And that, as it may not seem like that, okay? But if we look at from the invent of the automobile to replace the horses and buggies and Conestoga wagons and the carriages and everything else, if we look at that timeline, literally once that started, it was 30 years. Once this changeover to robots and drones, once this starts happening, literally 30 years. The world will look so different. It will be amazing in some places. In some places, it will be such a disaster that mankind will question its own humanity. Mankind will question its own moral and humanity. What man is and isn't capable of. I mean, we should be watching this now, because if we look at the Middle East and we look and we understand and we sit back and we really watch, then what we should know and understand that there are policies in the United States government that should not exist today. And a lot of that has to do with our connection to Israel. Charlie Kirk's former security chief is suing Candace Owens for defamation. I really don't pay attention to any other really social media influencers or carnival barkers, or hey, whatever you want to call them. I carnival bark enough on my own. I mean, I'm just saying. It is sheer crazy. Okay. So yeah. So she's gonna. Candace Owens is getting sued. They're all threatening to sue each other, and is it gonna amount to anything? I don't know. I don't, get involved in all that craziness. Trump scam on his cryptocurrencies have literally cost fans of Mega in their crypto scam over $4 billion from top to crash, okay? Anyway, on the Morning Joe, yeah. Ratner came armed with charts and showed a dramatic plunge in value in Trump's meme coin to where it is literally almost worthless. Okay, it had went all the way up initially sold for 7, went to 45, and now where has it crashed? I mean, I think that is the real question. They say Trump made 1.2 billion, we know of, and 600 million on trading fees and so forth. Okay, 2 million innocent Americans lost their money, Democrats say, and it wouldn't surprise me if they, when Democrats get back into power, which they eventually will, because we have this two-party monopoly. And literally the deep state, controls both sides. It has finally gotten control of Donald Trump and has literally become his psychological litmus test and a crutch that Donald Trump is using to get through the rest of his presidency. This is clear by the lack of prosecutions of real criminals, the reauthorization of FISA to spy on Americans, the same system used by James Baker III and other criminals at the FBI to spy on the Trump campaign. And of course, that includes, that's right, top Shia cleric assassinated in Iran. A hand grenade was thrown into his vehicle. Wow. Bump, 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 bump. Iran's foreign ministry spokesman Ismail Baghi on Sunday strongly condemned the assassination of Syrian Shia religious cleric, describing it as a terrorist attack and a heinous crime. On Friday, Sayed Farouk al-Mazur Ayam of the Sayyid Zainab shrine in southern suburbs of Damascus was assassinated after a hand grenade was thrown into his vehicle. Masur was targeted by unknown assailants shortly after he finished leading Friday prayers and he was leaving the shrine. Wow. Baghdad, anyway. Wow. So there's many believe that this was the Mossad, and they're essentially trying to create this this Shia and Shiite religious war. So because if they join against Israel, Israel will be kind of fucked. Should all of Islam come together to fight Israel as two religious political systems of superiority. This delusion that they are superior to everybody else in the world. Yeah, that's some bad shit going down there. Let's see. Hey, did you hear about this? Did you hear about Social Security being raided? Yeah, you should take note of this next news article and understand that the war inside of government is still going on. The war against fraud is still moving forward.
About this. The Social Security Administration in Washington, D.C. In March of this year was raided. It was done on a Sunday at 6 a.m. The FBI, the DEA, and other government agencies went in, and they were heading to the second floor office of the Director of Records Integration. And the director's name is Victor Salazar, of course, blue, Democrat, and he stole $6.7 billion, and he did it through theft and money laundering. He was arrested along with 37 others, and they seized 600 terabytes of data. There were also raids in 4 other states at 11 other Social Security Administration locations. And the reason they did this is because the DIA, which is the Defense Intelligence Agency, noticed a minor anomaly and something was flagged. And so they looked into it, and it was a payment being made to someone who had died. So once they looked into that, it kind of spider-webbed out, and they found hundreds of Social Security numbers that had been reactivated. So once they got the terabytes, they went in there and they found, or the FBI cyber forensic team found two parallel record systems operating inside the Social Security Administration infrastructure. And the first system was the official audit system, our official system. But the second system was a shadow system, and it was operated and maintained by Salazar and his team. And they used it to harvest employee credentials to hide detection and to process payments to dead people, fake identities, and non-citizens. And once they got in there, they found thousands of these transactions of dormant identities that were reactivated. And a lot of these were sold to the Sinaloa drug cartel. And they were going for anywhere from $4,000 to $90,000 a piece. And some of this money they traced to Miami, Houston, shell accounts, offshore accounts. And it was so sophisticated that dozens of internal reviews missed it. And it went through 3 presidential administrations. Wow. And even with the FBI tech getting in there and seizing everything, they still don't know who created the system. There's no names on it, no credentials, no access logs attached. Salazar was just running it.
Well, if he's running it, guess what? Hey, all those waterboarding techniques, all that shit, all these black rendition sites that the U.S. operates around the world. Can we start sending some of these motherfuckers there to have their fingernails yanked the fuck out? Can we have them fucking waterboarded to hell and back? Can we literally go into their house and seize everything, even the rolls of toilet paper that have to be unrolled to make sure that they didn't hide something in the shit paper itself? Yeah. It is crazy. It is crazy. Okay. Trump approval falls to 25% with independents. Well, yeah. We don't really like Republicans or the socialist Democrats, We look at one as socialist and one as, or actually social Marxist, And we look at the other one as, deep state, a spy agency, a Vichy state peoples. So neither Democrat or Republicans are good for government. That's what I would say. Okay. Control of the House hinges on historically low number of seats. Well, no, it won't. That's a big fat lie. Okay, now that Democrats can no longer demand gerrymandering by racism, that's fucking gone. Okay, there's 4 or 5 other states that are already saying, well, we have to fix our boundaries then, because they are illegal, because they were drawn along the lines of race as dictated by previous Supreme Courts. So, yeah. And if you have a fair census where you literally for the House, for federal elections, in the U.S. Census, you can only count U.S. citizens. You can't count all of this wide variety of people that are here for 20 different reasons and say they need to count too. No, they don't count. You may not like it. You may not, whatever, but non-U.S. citizens do not count in the apportionment of the power of the federal government, no matter what anybody has to fucking say. If you want to count them when you divide up the beans of the budget, I understand. But not to divide up the fucking power structure of the United States of America. And can we end this fucking ideological gerrymandering that we have going on now, okay? Because, that's all you can really have today is this partisan ideological gerrymandering along, the bigoting of the brain, the whole brain. Not somebody's skin color, not somebody's eye color, not even their hairstyle. Like they have discrimination laws in Pennsylvania to somebody's hairstyle. Good Lord, give me a fucking break, okay? And here's the other part. If depending, listen, you're gonna pick some straight white girl that looks like Ivanka Trump to work in some place that does a shop that does all kinds of cornrows and all kinds of other things for black folks on their hairs. I mean, listen, people will be turned down jobs for all reasons all across the street. Okay, that's all I'm saying. John Fetterman could become a Republican. It seems that Fetterman, after he had, I guess John Fetterman had to have a stroke before he came back to reality. That's right. John Fetterman says Democrats are just completely wrong. Okay. Now he's planning on running as an independent. Okay. In this election, because Democrats want to gerrymander or want to get primary him, out of his seat. All right. And put another Republican or another Democrat there. All right. Now, Donald Trump is trying to persuade Fetterman to change parties. This would be a big. This would really be a big blow to Democrats if he did. Okay. So yeah. The first-term Democrat infuriated the party with his hard line on immigration and his staunch support for Israel. Trump nominees, government funding bills, and most recently the president's ballroom isn't yet persuaded. So yeah. The truth is, since John Fetterman came back to reality, he has been outside the mainstream of this Democrat Party. Okay. So yeah. Dr. Fauci is the statute of limitations to put Dr. Fauci behind bars for manslaughter or murder or, deprivation of civil rights, literally lying to the public about the mRNA vaccines, and his role in the, what do you call that? The role of the, in the gain of function experiments at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. And, of course, all of the other things that have gone on. Now in the UK. Cancer spiking everywhere. Here in the United States. I lost my friend Rodney to cancer in January. I lost my friend Billy to cancer just a few weeks ago. Here, and I know Jeff, my neighbor Jeff, in August of last year. I know he had an mRNA clot shot. We begged him not to get it, but he got it anyway.
In the mRNA vaccines, the DNA contamination, and the fact that in the Pfizer jabs, they actually put the SV40 promoter region, didn't declare it to the regulator, and that's been linked to cancer for decades. In fact, they use that on lab rats to induce cancer so they can study it. They give them SV40, and they didn't pull the jabs even after that was uncovered. Well, what we've got now today announced in the UK is that we've got the highest rate of cancer diagnosis we've ever had in the UK, and that someone's being diagnosed for the first time with cancer every 80 seconds. And that's exactly why I stood up in 2023 and 2024 in the House of Commons and said, this is the time bomb that we've got to look forward to now with the massive increase in cancer. But nobody wanted to listen then. To be honest, Liz, they don't want to listen now either. The increased risk of cancer from the contamination in...
That is just fucked up. Every 80 seconds in the UK, somebody is... somebody has a first-time diagnosis of cancer? God. Who's gonna? No wonder they want to bring in a bunch of Africans. No wonder they got a damn fucking population replacement. They murdered all the motherfuckers, man. Good God. Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Janet Mills up there, I think it's Janet, up in Maine, has dropped out of the Senate race, and now the Oyster Man with the Nazi tattoo became a Democrat frontrunner. Oh, it's okay. He had his Nazi tattoo removed by laser. It's okay. I mean, I guess that's like a Democrat putting their hood away, or maybe Democrats putting their hoods back on their pillowcases again, Yeah, it's sheer crazy. Syrian gets 6 months for raping a 13-year-old girl. 21-year-old Syrian man convicted of raping a 13-year-old Norwegian girl in a bike shed will serve just 6 months in prison. The court cited his low IQ, limited development, and a recent change in Norwegian sentencing laws. 6 months. Is that after 6 months? The girl's father gets to catch the guy and use a meat cleaver to relieve him of his fucking dick and his balls. Okay. I think that seems like fair punishment. Okay, six months to rest and relax until you have to run for the rest of your fucking life from an angry father. The court also found that Al Yusuf should have understood that the girl was underage. The victim said that she was born in 2008, while a witness said she appeared visibly young and childlike. Who gives a fuck? The motherfucker, listen, listen. This is a crime against humanity to allow motherfuckers like this to, one, stay in your society. One assessment estimated his IQ at 41, though later the reports said it was 64 to 75. Okay? Look, people act dumb as a motherfucker because they get away with it, I was laughing. Somebody in a post on Facebook said, I can't understand it, It's like no Mexicans and everybody speaks Spanish, but nobody speaks English, and I had to translate for a dozen people, and I'm like, shit, you dumbass. I said, those people, most of them know how to speak English. They don't speak English because they can get away with acting fucking stupid. And if they know you don't know Spanish, if you don't know how to fucking El Lingo Slingo, they ain't going to talk to you in English. I used to laugh because, Eric, the son-in-law, who I wish he would be a better person, but he can't be, I guess. He said, yeah, I see it all the time in prison, he says these Mexicans act like they don't speak English, and, they speak English just fine. It's just they don't want to, every hurdle that they can, everything that they can use, whether, race or something, as a barrier for whether it's communication or whatever, they do. It's fucking nuts, okay? I'm sorry. I don't believe this motherfucker should have nuts, okay? Yeah, they said that that despite being 19 years and 8 months old at the time of the offense, his developmental level could be considered comparable to that of the 13-year-old victim. That does not excuse the fucking crime. The victim was awarded 25,000 euro in compensation for damages. The court said although the girl had reportedly not described the incident as especially burdensome, she was young and such events could affect her for the rest of her life. Of course they are. My advice is, if you can, carry an auto loader. That's right, an auto loader. That's right. So when after you run out of bullets, you can quickly reload. Okay. And if you have a little barrel clip on the bottom of that thing, makes it a mini Uzi, that's okay too. But no rapist should be allowed to live. Just saying. That's a predatory crime. A predatory crime of power, not passion. It is literally, this domination thing. And, well, truth is, they did one, they're going to do more. That's the truth about rape, okay? That's the truth about lots of crimes, okay? Chinese hackers spied on the Cuban embassy, the American embassy, I guess, in Cuba, as Trump ramped up blockade threats. Donald Trump has recently said that it is time to come. We are preparing to attack Cuba. Now, will Trump actually have the balls to send in troops into Cuba? And will he start Vietnam on the shores of America, even though, it's Cuba? I don't know. Yeah, more problems in how should we say, in the Nordic region, where an Iraqi father has been arrested in Sweden for beating and imprisoning his daughter in Italy over a forced marriage plot. In other words, this fucking piece of shit Iraqi father sold his daughter. He sold her for goods and services or whatever the hell it is, okay? Italian police say the 52-year-old demanded his daughter marry a Kurdish man chosen by the family and threatened to kill her if she tried to escape. Well, I mean, look, if you don't know that that's standard in the Islamic world, and that they want to bring marrying 5 to 9-year-olds and promising them to other dirty old men in America, I'm the dirty old man, and the father should be fucking executed. Okay, I know that's outside the norm, but I'm sorry. If you're selling children into marriage and slavery, I just want to say goodbye, okay? Because one way or the other, you're taking a dirt nap, or your ass is going to be back in the fucking shitlands, okay? In the third world, where, well, you can do that shit. But in America, listen, I guess since I was molested as a kid, I have no problem with fucking child molesters and rapists being fucking executed, okay? I'm just, now here's a problem, okay? I know one guy that went home and slept with his wife, hammered it. He says, I'm leaving you. We're getting divorced. Well, and she said he raped her. I mean, listen, stupid is stupid, okay? I'm just saying. My brother also, I had those discussions where he said anybody caught with drugs, they shouldn't even have a trial. They should be taken out and executed. I said, wow. I said, Wesley, I said, you'd be dead tomorrow. He said, what do you mean? I said, I'd just go out there and plant an ounce of dope in your car for $600 or whatever it is it's going to cost me. And, you know, they'll come and take you out back and execute you even without a trial. And you know, the truth is there's people that do that. There's people that act like that. That's a standard operating, you know, get rid of the problem by contaminating it, you know, making it the crime scene instead of you. Kremlin rattled as it tightens security around Putin amid assassination and coup fears. Wow. Yeah. I think the West should consider themselves lucky that they have Putin in power in Russia. Okay? That's all I'm saying. All right? They're just like in Iran. Okay? There are power structures that want the leadership. And they are hardline, they are warlike, and they don't give a fuck. They look at all the wars that are going on now as a culmination of a point to where there's going to be a point of no return. So they are not going to sit and wait and get boxed in. They are going to start that point of no return, and they will launch a nuclear strike against the West. It should, you know, stupid shit happens everywhere. The problem is that the United States is essentially working to engineer a nuclear war. They want a limited nuclear war, but I don't believe that will be possible. Okay? That's all I'm trying to say. Let's see what else we got going on here. Oh, wow. Yeah, in Newark, New Jersey, a guy was driving his bakery truck, and he got hit by an airplane on the highway. Yeah, it's not too good. The United Airlines plane struck a bakery truck on the New Jersey Turnpike while coming into land at Newark Airport. Footage inside the truck shows the driver, who works for Baltimore-based H&S Bakery, looking happy, relaxed, rolling along, driving along the turnpike, and when his truck got slammed, okay? Yeah, by the plane that evidently came in too low. Okay? So listen, if your bakery goods are just a little bit behind schedule, now, I'm sure they've been replaced by now. But check this out. Oops, that was quick. He's driving along and then oops. You can see the plane flying overhead. Damn, man, he gets clobbered. Now, luckily, the guy wasn't hurt. He had some minor injuries, but he wasn't hurt too bad. But you never know, you know. Truth is, you never know. You could be driving down the road and a plane puts its landing gear down and hits you. Anyway, doctors call out the president's odd medical visit in Florida. In Florida, really? Well, let's see. Donald Trump, 79 years old, made an unscheduled stop at his Florida dentist Saturday morning, igniting more speculation about his health. He went to see the dentist. Oh my God, he might drop over dead. What the fuck is wrong? MSN, that was an MSN story. It's like, hey, what the fuck is wrong with you guys over there, right? Yeah. 8 in 10 chatbots, here you go, inclined to assist somebody plan an attack. 8 out of 10 AI chatbots have been found to actively assist users who plan violent attacks to murder, murder, death, kill peoples. Yeah. Statistica's Anna Fleck reports, when asked to provide violent plan attacks, including a school shooting, an anti-Semitic bombing, a political assassination, platforms such as Perplexity, Meta AI, and DeepSeek regularly assisted users to finding the answers. Only one Anthropic Claude repeatedly discouraged users from taking action. Wow, the tests were designed to reflect plans for school shootings or knife attacks, assassinations, politicians, bombings, parties, and synagogues. Over half of the responses for 8 of the chatbots, the subjects were provided with advice on locations to target and weapons to use in the attack. Snapchat's My AI and Anthropic's Claude refused to help in 54% and 68% of the cases, respectively. Claude also the only chatbot to consistently recognize the intentions of the user and to discourage them from acting. Hey, this is a kind of a red flag serious problem, isn't it? I mean, if AI is going to help people plan attacks, then yeah. Okay. I see pictures of Donald Trump out on the golf course. He is looking a lot thinner. He appears to be losing weight. Now, the question is, is it from some type of pancreatic cancer or some other serious health issue that Donald Trump has? Okay. So, they just said it was a single exam, according to doctors, rarely done before, boasted, blah, blah, blah. The other part of that is, he may have something scheduled and wanted to get his teeth cleaned or just something simple done and checked, and, there it is. AI finds signs of cancer before tumors develop. I talked about this, about AI literally, reading X-rays and CT scans. That it is literally the Mayo Clinic's AI model analyzes the data to detect early tissue changes associated with pancreatic cancer. By the time doctors detect most pancreatic cancers, it is extremely too late. And treatment is iffy anyway. My friend Rodney, his pancreatic cancer was just a little dinky spot when they found it. God bless you, Rod. Rod said, "Man, I would have never known it." He said, "But I went in and I thought I might have had what do they call that? Lyme disease, because he had a tick bite, and he." Oh man, listen, the man found a tick on his nutsack. Okay, and he didn't feel so swift, so he went to the doctor. Doctor found pancreatic cancer. After some tests and stuff, they went in, they found it maybe a couple weeks later, and they started this treatment right away. And it's like God bless you, Ron. And he tried to take some of the homeopathic type of cures but none of them were helped. And by the time he had tried to switch over to something like that, his body was already really, kind of drugged down, and it had metastasized to his liver. So, it was aggressive too. It was really aggressive. These guys that I know that lost their lives to cancers. So what else we got going on here? USA tests an interceptor drone to hunt Iranian Shiad drones. With the ones that would have the big wingspan. Have a lot of lift, and they take just a little lawnmower motor in the back to make them fly right. So yeah. What else we got going on here? DOJ releases report alleging that the anti-Christian bias under the Biden administration was much deeper and wider than people knew before. So yeah, the Biden administration was targeting people that opposed abortion. Period. End of story. Okay, and what they did was they attacked the civil liberties of Christians and Catholics, branch of Christianity, to to suppress their views on abortion. Federal court blocks the abortion drug mifepristone. Of course, it's like that morning after pill. Okay, that they made literally they made it easily available to everybody. The FDA conceded that it failed to adequately study whether remotely prescribing mifepristone is safe. The 3-judge panel in New Orleans ruled Friday. The drug will block the decision will block the drug from being shipped via mail until the Food and Drug Administration can ensure the drugs are safe and effective before they can be marketed in the United States. Remember, this is the day after drug pill, okay? Part of a 2-drug regimen that allows a woman to end a pregnancy up to 70 days after gestation, after that spark of light. You do know that, right? I mean, if you don't know, understand that when the swimmer meets the egg, there is a spark of light. There is a flash of brilliance as they join together, and then the sequence of division starts, and a human being is created from there on. You can call it, a mass of cells. You can call it a zygote. You can call it all kinds of different things. But it's still a human. I mean, we have humans now with chicks with dicks. But those early days of our lives are still, fraught with peril. If let's just say that super sucker from Planned Parenthood doesn't get on your mama's coochie. Yeah. So be aware, I guess is what I was trying to say. The abortion cartel facilitated the deaths of thousands of Louisiana babies. Louisiana Attorney General Liz Murrill called it a victory for life. And I agree. I don't support abortion. The problem is we have to be free in America. And that also includes, I don't like it, but people, if they choose to abort their babies. I think there should be reasonable restrictions. And once that life is viable, it has its own rights and liberties. And the truth is, I believe that in the future, we'll be able to literally transplant the small fetuses and stuff out of a womb and put them in an artificial womb instead of having an abortion. I think that's possible. I think that's feasible. I just don't think that we have advanced ourselves to that point yet. So, yeah. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Where are we at? Let's see. Patriot Act. Man, I just so much different news today. It's too much of it, in all honesty. I just tried to relax this weekend. Large cargo ship near the Straits of Hormuz attacked on the first escalation since April 22nd. Massive anti-Trump 8647 graffiti found at the bottom of across the bottom of the Lincoln Memorial. Of course, 8647 was put out by James Comey. Everybody in the world knows 86 something means to make it dead, to trash it, to get rid of it, to eviscerate it, to throw it away. Everybody knows that. James Comey had a book deal. He wanted his book to sell. So what did he do? You know, he put 8647. He put his book up there, and you know, the question is then, if that's true, should James Comey forfeit all of his book money? I don't know. I wouldn't buy, I wouldn't buy books like that unless I saw them at Goodwill for like $1 or something. So yeah, but that's me. Okay. Where are we at here? If cash is king, Berkshire hits $397 billion in cash sitting in their wallets, as they've been backing out of the stock market. You know, what does Warren Buffett know that the rest of us don't? Yeah. Judge blocks enforcement of Colorado's new DEI-driven AI law. Yeah, wow. It's idiocracy, this entire space that we're in anymore. Remember, fake news has an effect. Fake news causes people to, well, let's just say act stupidly at times. Take care, Revolution Radio. We'll see you tomorrow on 2 for Tuesday. Yep, let me hang up over here and get away. Yep, there we go. We're out of Rev Radio. And, well, anyway, what do we got that we can share? We got for the last few minutes here. Terrorism used as a tool. No shit. Terrorism used as a tool, just like false flags are. False flags are essentially terrorism. Okay? Nowadays, you actually have to prove that you're a person, that you're a citizen. And, you know, what is a human? And they've taken all of this and have put it around. So, yeah, it is crazy. That's what I will say. All right? Mexico City built a huge metropolis, essentially built on an aquifer that all the water has been sucked out of it. And what we know is that when these geological things happen, you know, land subsides. Right now, Mexico City itself is sinking into the ground 10 inches a year. The question is, when will it literally become unviable? And what will you have to do in Mexico City when the rest of it collapses? China has now owns and operates basically Canada, as this new Canadian agreement has essentially brought in maple communism, as we literally have a socialist and a communist in the South, in Mexico, leading the country. Do you realize Mexico and the United States and Canada could be at war in itself in the not too distant future? Has anybody thought about that? I think it's something that we have to think, and we have to have an idea, of how secure is secure, and how many security risks have we already brought into the country? Well, I'm going to get out of here. Got lots to do today. Thanks for everything, everybody. And remember that you do change the world every day. God bless. Good day. And good luck.